This is a demo about Red Hat CodeReady Workspaces version 2.1 running on OpenShift version 4.4. I'll show you how to work with a Quarkus application and also how to debug it. And at the end, I'll show you how to remove CodeReady Workspaces from OpenShift. So let me log in. And now the first thing I want to do is create a project into which I want to install CodeReady Workspaces operator. I'm going to call it CRW. So let's go to the operator hub, and the operator that we're interested in is CodeReady Workspaces by Red Hat. You should definitely check the instructions here. Any operator you install, you should check those instructions. Now I just click on the install button and I make sure that the project is already selected, the project that I just created. I leave all the defaults and click subscribe. Now this can take a while to install, but once it's succeeded here, it's already succeeded in the installation. Now I can click into the operator, and then at CodeReady Workspaces cluster I can click on the button create a new cluster. Now I should leave all the defaults, make sure that the namespace is correctly selected, CodeReady Workspaces CRW, and click on create. Now it can take a few minutes to install, but once it's installed you should be able to see the correct URL, the CodeReady Workspaces URL, which we'll use later. If you click on the Resources tab, you'll see the resources being created. It is important to wait for the cluster to come up. It can take 4 or 5 minutes to fully be ready. So to check that, if you go to Workloads and Pods, select the project you created. Make sure there are 6 running pods inside that project, and also make sure they're all ready. All of these are in ready state 1/1. And then, if that's the case, go back to the operator, back to the cluster, and you'll see the URL is now shown. So I click on the URL, and I log in again as system administrator, allow the selected permissions, and now I need to register a user into CodeReady Workspaces. So I fill in my email address and name, click submit. And I'm logged into CodeReady Workspaces. And the first thing I see are a lot of sample workspaces. If I go to the workspaces, you can see I have no workspaces open at the moment. So to get started, you can have a look at these workspaces here with various flavors of applications. And the one which we're interested in is Quarkus. So I can filter for it here, and I click on Quarkus, and this workspace will now be opened. Opening the workspace can take a couple of minutes. Now that is what you'll see once your workspace has opened. On the left hand side here you can open your files and you can drill down into your source code. There's also a search function, there's also a git function so you can work with source control, and there's a debugger. On the right hand side here you can see a menu with various commands which can be used. So let's say I'm a beginner with this workspace and I don't really know my way around. I can easily use these commands to get started. So for example, I can open a terminal and I can work in this terminal just like I would if I was working on my laptop. I can run the Maven command, etc. So on the right hand side here I can start this application in development, in hot deploy development mode. So it's going to go ahead and compile the application and launch it. So now the application has been built and I'm offered to open a link. This will open up the application on the right hand side so I can test it all within the same screen. So there's the running application on the right hand side. Now that's the default Quarkus application. I can actually want to show you accessing a particular route. So it is hello, greeting, and then a name. So I'll give my name. So for example, it just replies with hello Steve. I supplied hello, greeting / Steve. So now I'm going to show Quarkus in developer mode. So for that, I want to make some changes to some of the source code. So I'll pick out this piece of source code here. It's the greeting service.java, and there's this very interesting and complicated line which returns a string to be displayed in the browser. It just says at the moment hello and then name. A name is the string variable which contains the name in the request, which in this case is Steve. So it just prints out hello Steve. Now every time I refresh the browser it tells me hello Steve. Now let's change that. Let's say I want to change it to hello world. Now that file is going to automatically save, and when I click refresh the application will be restarted, and without having to build or recompile it again I get hello world Steve. Immediately the changes in the source code take effect. Now I'll show you how to debug the application. So let's say this line here, line 9, I want to debug this line of code because it's extremely complex, and I want to just check what the value of this variable has. Yeah. So for that I will switch to the debugger, and the debugger has the usual functionality of a debugger. You can start it, I can stop execution of the application, I can skip over statements, I can drill down into functions and methods, I can execute and come out of methods, I can repeat statements, and I can stop the debugger. And below I can view the threads, I can see the stack, I can see the values of variables, and I can also set watches on variables, and I can see the breakpoints. So I'm interested in this variable name, so I'm going to create a watch on the variable with a name. Just means that later on when I debug the application it'll show me the value of that variable. And then let's set a breakpoint. I'll need to set a breakpoint on this line so that the execution stops at this point. So let's start the debugger. And if I refresh this page, the execution is now stopped at this point. And if I look at the variable, I can see the value is Steve. My watch has also found the variable with the value Steve. I can also, if I want to, let's say I want to change the value of this variable during the execution, I can do that. So I've changed the variable, and then I allow the debugger to continue, and you can see the result is hello world John. I'll now show you how to remove CodeReady Workspaces from OpenShift. First of all, go to the installed operators. There's the operator which we installed earlier. Drill down into there, but first of all, before we delete the operator, let's delete the cluster that we created. This is the CodeReady Workspace. On the right hand side here at the menu, select Delete Cluster and then confirm deletion. Just to be sure that everything has been deleted, go to Workloads and Pods, and you should see the pods being terminated. Only the CodeReady operator is left running. Now let's remove the CodeReady operator. Back to the Installed Operators menu, and you find the CodeReady Workspaces operator, and let's uninstall the operator and confirm. So that's the end of the demo. Thanks for watching.